Former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is convicted of bribery. Defense leaders welcome US General Dempsey for security talks. We meet some of the many Bedouin calling for recognition on Land Day. And an Israeli pilot snaps a rather impressive selfie. Shalom, welcome to the Jerusalem Post News, our top stories for Monday, March 31st. In a long-running corruption case that's been described as the worst in the nation's history, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert was found guilty today of bribery, along with 9 other former senior officials and businessmen who also exchanged bribes for the development of a huge Jerusalem construction project during the time when Olmert was mayor of the city. Our legal affairs correspondent Yonah Bob was outside the Tel Aviv District Court earlier this morning.
Huge news today. Ehud Olmert, the man who couldn't be hit, finally gets hit and hit big today. Convicted of bribery in large amounts of money, 500,000 shekels given to his brother Yossi by the state's main witness, Shmuel Duchner, another 60,000 in another count. His lawyers have pointed out that there are 2 other counts that he was accused of bribery that he was acquitted. They've already hinted, they said this isn't the last word, so there's likely to be an appeal anytime you're dealing with a former prime minister like Ehud Olmert. That's number one. Another thing that happened today, Shula Zaken, Olmert's top aide, had cut a plea bargain deal. That might have even led to more charges against Olmert. The judge was hinting today, number one, maybe we don't need that now that Olmert has been convicted. Number 2, he doesn't like the plea bargain deal. He's upset that Zaken lied in court. He might not give it to her. Next up, April 8th, sentencing hearing. Olmert could potentially serve big jail time unless he gets sympathy for having been prime minister, as he did in his earlier trial.
Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon met with US Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff General Martin Dempsey in Jerusalem on Sunday to discuss Middle East security and cooperation. Prime Minister Netanyahu thanked Dempsey for approving additional military aid to Israel for missile defense and underscored the close cooperation between their nations. Earlier this month, the US and Israel signed an accord to continue production of the Iron Dome anti-missile defense system, by which the US will put forward $429 million for its procurement. Only a few days after coming under fire for saying the Obama administration appeared feeble in the eyes of the world and for describing US Secretary of State John Kerry as messianic, Minister Ya'alon was now thanking General Dempsey for being a true friend of Israel and the IDF. Ya'alon told Dempsey many new challenges were developing in the region. While Land Day is traditionally commemorated by Arab Israelis living in the northern Galilee region who remember Israel's expropriation of their land in 1976, it's since become a day shared with other Arab Israeli citizens, including the Bedouin, who continue to stand against the demolition of their unrecognized villages as the state continues to push for urban development in the south. I went to the Negev yesterday to meet the residents of the unrecognized village of Sawawin.
Today in Sawawin, one of the unrecognized villages that under imminent threat of displacement. Actually, we are commemorating the Land Day, the 38th anniversary of the Land Day. And this year it has different meanings since the State of Israel now is trying to implement bravery plan. It's a governmental plan that try to displace up to 70,000 people and uproot and destroy up to 35 villages. We are in favor of development. We are not against development of the Negev, but we are asking why, when they are talking about development, they are talking about destroying our villages. We are against uneven development.
الشهيد رجع أبو ريا من سخلين، الشهيد رأفت الزهيري من نور.
Well, all of the unrecognized villages are very connected to the Land Day because we are fighting to have the recognition of our ownership on the land. Each year there is, we are protesting in another unrecognized village.
رجب رضا محمد عبدو محمد قاس يلا عليها يلا سوف سطر دحين اوكي.
The Israel Air Force posted an extraordinary selfie on their official Facebook page, which was snapped by a pilot as he flew upside down over Tel Aviv. While the Israel Air Force usually censors faces in photographs to protect the identities of its soldiers, this one was too impressive not to share. The pilot was flying the Efroni trainer aircraft, or the Beechcraft T-6 Texan II, performing a typical aerial demonstration above the commercial capital when he snapped the picture of himself. If you look closely, you can see Rabin Square above his head. The photo already has over 5,000 Facebook likes since it was posted on Sunday. That's it. We're back tomorrow with more main headlines. Until then, shalom from the Jerusalem Post studio.